Greetings, geeks. Welcome to episode 603 of Geeks in Space. We are watching The Quiet Earth today. I would not even consider doing it without Nate Ostendorp.
Hello.
Chris DeBona.
Hi.
And Rob Roseboom.
I'm trying to be quiet.
Why?
Because he's on Earth.
Because
it's a quieter.
Yeah.
It's going to be
It's like the movie.
I'll mute the whole podcast. It'll be really confusing.
It's like the movie.
Yeah.
So, Chris, tell us about your selection this week.
I think I first saw this so long ago. This is a 1985 movie, right? I think I saw this on Select TV in Salt Lake City. Select TV was a locally broadcast cable option where you had a little switcher, and they had all kinds of great movies. And then, it was good. And this one just showed up, and I was like, wow, this is really good. And
this one was recommended to me by my dad like 15 years ago, which is weird.
Wow.
My dad watches a lot of weird movies, but like he recommended, what was the time traveling boat one that we watched?
Oh, Final Option?
Yeah, Final Destination.
Final Option. Final Destination is the one where people die.
Oh.
It was the final countdown.
Final countdown.
That's why we have the music.
Yes.
I still got the damn button. So yeah, this was one that he had recommended to me years ago, and he's got a pretty good track record of recommending weird. Like, this is a cheap movie, to be clear. This is a $600,000 budget, filmed in New Zealand, and spoilers: if you want to save money on a movie, you only have 3 actors.
Well, so I have to tell you something, Rob. You know, I was the person who recommended the Final Countdown when we did it on Geeks in Space. I'm secretly your father.
Oh, that explains a lot.
It does?
No, it actually adds a lot of time travel questions. All right, well, let's see here.
Wait, Rob was about to say something.
Yeah, Rob.
No.
Surprise.
Not me.
Rob.
Right.
Not me. I'm good.
Well, this movie starts off, so for a 90-minute movie, 91 minutes, I'm not going to say wastes, because I guess there is symbolism here, but there is 2 minutes and 59 seconds.
Yeah, I'll go ahead and say waste, because that was my very first note. That 3% of this movie is watching the sun here. You know, it seems like, and to be fair, I find this movie to be extremely slow for a movie that's only an hour and 30 minutes long. So I thought, if you're going to waste, you don't have time to waste 3% of your movie, especially not on this. So.
For sure. And if you factor in then also the closing credits is like another sort of 2-minute long. But again, like, I don't know, I'm of mixed feeling here, right? Like, they're setting the table for the movie, and they do reuse throughout the movie. They use the flashing circle imagery. I don't necessarily fault them for it, but man, this is a dated thing. You don't get away with this anymore. Jumping right past there.
Yeah, there was a fair amount of Bruno Lawrence's genitals in this movie.
There's a lot of Wang. And even in the scenes where the Wang is covered, there's scenes where there's like Wang visible through things.
Even when it's covered, you know it's still there because you've seen it before. Is what Rob means.
Yeah.
Burned into your brain.
Forever.
Yeah.
Forever.
Oh, look, more sun.
More sun, yep. We're going to have a lot of that.
So this is where the effect actually happens.
Yeah.
The event.
Whoa.
There you go. So,
The rapture.
The Doctor Who thing, whatever.
Yeah.
So
Whatever you want to choose.
It's 6:12 in the morning, and to the filmmaker's credit, when you look at anything about the event, they make sure the time zones work, even if it's like referring to the event when it happens in GMT. It's like I respect the filmmakers. Is what I'm saying.
This is clearly a movie made by people who care. Like the small details, but also the joy that's shown by these. Like all three of the actors have like moments where you can tell they are having fun with what they know is a weird low budget movie.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it works.
It's earnest though,
That's a good word.
Very earnest.
That's a good word.
You know?
There are a lot of mid 80s computers scattered throughout. This one does not look particularly recognizable to me.
Well, it's the hotel's reservation computer, if I remember correctly here.
So it's just a kiosk kind of situation?
I don't know. I mean, it's probably just I don't know what would be the right place. So, yeah.
Well, something happened last night, and our hero, what's his name?
I couldn't tell you.
I couldn't either. That's the thing, is that they're not really talking to each other a lot. There's no, he doesn't talk to anybody for the first 40 minutes of this movie.
Well, I know the actor's name is Bruno, Lawrence. Yeah. Oh, Zach Hobson. That's right.
Zach, I should know
Dr. Zach Hobson.
But yeah, the Zach has awoken. We don't know what's going on. There is nobody alive, and the first 10 or 15 minutes of this movie is just him sort of exploring the empty world, which is it's a bit that's been done, I mean, 100 times in different media, but this one's done really well.
Yeah. And it's funny too, because this is all filmed, like the entire like empty town and the installation and all the rest. These are all within like practically walking distance of each other. And I've actually been to this downtown when I was in New Zealand, and it's just really something. So.
I just like that. I think it's a good jump scare gag. Like, you know, they get the timpani in there.
Yeah. And his reaction is honest and good, and I love the soundtrack of this movie. I actually own a copy of the soundtrack.
Really? That's kind of awesome.
Yeah.
This bothers me tremendously, just because he breaks the window and then he's like palming that glass right there.
Yeah, like, that's dangerous.
That you don't want to do that. That's not cool. It actually stresses me out.
He's got dirt on his head
from
throwing the planter through it.
Yeah. You know? That's weird too. I don't know who's talking back there, but we're getting somebody.
Yeah.
It's Nate.
Could be.
It's Nate.
Sounds Nate-like.
Nate's family. Yeah.
This is you, Chris?
Oh, here. So, I really liked this. You could go ahead. Let it play for a few more moments. I just wanted to point out, that's not full of milk. This isn't the dead zone. You know, this is danger, flammable gas, gonna blow it up. So,
and I didn't think about it until just now, but this is repeated at the end of the movie. They've got they've got the gas station at the end. I mean, I remember the sequence, but I didn't realize that this is the same location. This is him going to his factory, right?
No prop unused. No prop unused twice.
Exactly.
That's how you save money.
They saved a lot of money. Huh?
They did. So the plane crash, like I actually
must have cost a fortune,
right?
You know?
This felt like I feel like this is one of those situations where maybe somebody was filming something else and they were able to leech onto it.
Or it's like a construction burn and they just threw a thing in there. You know, I don't know.
Just a fin. Yeah, it's weird, but it's big budget. I mean, for what this movie is, it made me think that this is like the inversion of Lost. You know, like this is one guy and there's nobody survived the plane. It's like the opposite land. But the good news is then we immediately learn why Chris picked this movie.
Satellites.
Satellites. Isn't that cool?
I was wondering up until this point, but then the satellite showed up.
Oh. That makes sense. They're going to communicate with aliens. This is a Chris movie.
This part, the fact that in his lab, he has a sort of international radio network.
Yeah,
I thought was a nice touch, because you can very quickly see that everyone's gone in the entire world as he attempts to communicate with the other stations here.
It's interesting because he's kind of like war dialing or whatever. He's like pinging all of all of the nodes, and again, this is really efficient storytelling and early for this, right? Like nowadays, you could easily imagine like your modern Marvel movie, like we've pinged all the networks, to figure it out, or whatever. You can see that happening. To do this with a computer in the mid '80s, this is actually, this is ahead of its time in some ways.
Yeah, and it's very efficient storytelling. I mean, if it was in a Marvel movie, it would be like, 15 minutes of, Nick Fury saying, well, what about Manila? Or whatever.
What about Manila, indeed? I also like that they're using like the old ANSI font thing where they're blink tagging or whatever. They're blinking the text. It's all just the standard terminal thing.
And the response is knack. It's saying not acknowledged, not acknowledged, not acknowledged. No one, you can't reach anybody.
This makes me feel like this is not really a set. This makes me feel like somebody just had access to a lab, and there's probably like just off screen, there's Jerry from tech support who just knows how to get some stuff on the screen, like just enough on the screen to make this work.
Well, this is in Warkworth. This is like 100, yards from that house he broke into. I mean, this is really neat. Look, 1812 GMT, Project Flashlight, and as scheduled, send our readings as result. And I'm like, that's not how packet messaging works.
See, but I would buy that right over a phone line.
This is teletype. It could be a teletype.
Yeah, like
I got to tell you, a lot of my BBS calls ended when mid-sentence because my mom picked up the phone.
The only one I didn't really know what it was Text Deco. I don't know what that is.
And it says it twice. Text Deco text. This is their texting system. I bet that's their deal. I like this. I like that the science in this movie, all of the technology appears correct to me, like for the era. Like that's nice when they see that, or when I see that in a movie. That always tickles my happy place.
Yeah.
Here we see the Operation Flashlight screen. If you could just hit play here. I like that it's like a 18-line basic program.
Right.
Yep.
I bet if we Googled this, we could find the code.
I see a bug in it already, though.
Yeah, for
Operation Flashlight, yeah.
Yeah, that had to be in quotes. Otherwise, it wouldn't have assigned to see.
Escape characters, man. Nobody back then's thinking about buffer overruns. They're not thinking, it's pre-Morris Worm. So we worry a lot less about internet security back here. You can just send injectable packets or code snippets over in clear text and just run it. Whatever, it's fine.
On your HP Basic interpreter.
All right.
This is where the $600,000 budget starts to show a little bit. That is very cadaver-ish.
All right. So I want to ask a question here, and I'm just going to go ahead and spoil what we don't know at this point in the movie. So sorry to everybody. Everybody who was at the verge of death is still alive, which is our three actors.
Right.
But there are no corpses, and they have a pretty extended discussion about why there are fish with some dubious explanation. Why is this guy's corpse still here? There are no other corpses.
So I have to assume it's because he was one of the operators turning on Project Flashlight. And there's something about that made him special in his bunker. So he was still killed by it. But you can see his hand is sort of melty with that horribly scary Halloween thing.
I assumed it was so that you would know everyone was dead.
To distinguish from the rapture.
Yes.
But that's
because at this point, you kind of assume everyone is dead, but now you know for sure everyone is dead.
Yeah.
I actually found this a little weird. I wish they would have, done something a little, like show a TV camera or something, because there's no other corpse, not a single one. That's just, I don't know.
And he's at the emergency control system. So he lived long enough to want to go over to that thing. And then
he's trying to
Zach
find the
moving
fucking undo.
him. Well, this is the thing that kills me. Zach moving him then sets off the emergency procedure that locks him in and he has to break out of. It was kind of like, I didn't buy it, you know?
Yeah.
And also the explosion he set off was huge and probably would have killed him. So I'm like, I don't see why you would have taken that risk. You know, if you have access to oxyacetylene, just cut the door open, you know?
Right.
I just liked, so here he is, he's broadcasting, trying to find people. I just like his boss, DJ Cans here.
Right.
Yep.
I think
and
you're right.
He is at Radio Haruki. Haruraki. And that's based in Warkworth, New Zealand. It's like literally like if you drew a little circle around the map, it's all within a mile of each other.
That's awesome.
So
it's like a college project or something.
Well, you all know Nat Torkington from your Pearl days.
Indeed.
You know, he lives like next door to this place.
He's in this movie like constantly because there's only 6 people in that town. So he's 2 of these people wearing masks.
He's 2 of the ghosts, you know. Yeah.
No, he's the other 2 characters that we haven't met yet. It's really politically incorrect.
Wow.
Nate, I had one of those pairs of AKGs that we had back in the day, and I finally threw it away like a year ago because it had like shredded and like the vinyl or whatever had all fallen off and it was just too unusable, and I was kind of sad. Those are nice headphones.
They were good headphones, though. I mean, they were solid.
They were, in fact, the headphones from the original Geeks in Space studio. We had
what?
True.
We had like 4 of them.
From the first lost not lost to the original episodes.
From the original episodes
Net
before Bates lost them all. So this is a trope, right? And it always kind of makes me. I mean, they kind of do reference this. Like, what if you move?
Yeah, but he talks about it.
He does.
Mm-hmm.
So. I don't know. I'm just impressed at his quality of handwriting. You know,
that's true.
It's like if I did it, no one would be able to read the damn thing. It'd be drips everywhere. You know. Well, look at that great like long ribbon pointing to it.
Yeah. But Nate, as you correctly identified, this is the beginning of, for me, the most memorable part of the movie, like the descent into Crazy Town.
Yeah.
Well, every one of these has to have a go wild sequence, like a Home Alone type, play saxophone on the street.
Yep. So I just wanted to note now this is our second movie where a cool guy plays a saxophone in the middle of the movie.
What was the first one?
Lost Boys, man.
Oh, yeah. Right? With that crazy saxophone,
equally crazy. But in this case, he's wearing a taxi cab hat?
No, it's a cop. It's
a cop outfit.
Oh, is that like a...
And that's an alto sax, not a tenor sax. So
for sure.
There's
really, Malda.
There's differences, Rob.
That's fair. And I played an alto sax. Did I say tenor?
No, you just said sax.
Oh, I'm sorry. That is an alto sax because that's what I played.
Was the one in Lost Boys an alto or a tenor?
I thought it was a baritone.
No, tenor.
I'm going to trust Mr. Roseman. He's
clearly got it.
I played tenor.
They're really like the whole thing is just like the little tiny curve in the neck, right?
Yeah, and baritone has the loop.
Yeah. They're a little bigger. Well, I'll just kind of hop through, and we can sort of enjoy some of these little moments of real crazy because this is fun.
Yeah.
I like he changes his residence. I like the way they reflect that in the broadcast.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then
really nice.
his breakfast I find a bit perplexing.
Yeah.
Is this a thing in New Zealand that we just never got in this country?
I did look it up and it is actually a thing, but gross.
Yeah.
Gross.
Is it a hangover cure?
I'd buy that. But he's putting it with champagne.
Yeah. Well, hair of the dog,
Also popular to do with beer.
That I would be more likely to buy as a hangover cure.
If the goal is to make me vomit, this is going to work. Champions.
Well, the other problem is, so I think at this point we're like 6 days from the incident. So this is like got to be the end of eggs. Like he's only got a few more days.
No way.
I mean,
the power is still on at this point.
Because he's got a generator at the mansion, right?
Not yet. Yeah. It turns off a little later.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
All right. So he's still got power. So he's still got refrigerated eggs. All right. Everything's fine.
He has a generator by the time he gives his speech to Hitler.
And just to be clear, for millions of years, birds have been laying eggs that don't immediately go rotten.
Yeah. Eggs will actually last a while.
Sure. But still, this is a week. He's got a couple weeks left, and then he's out of eggs. So I guess eat your eggs, man.
Maybe if there was an egg-laying chicken that died the moment at 6:12 a.m.
Yeah. By the trope of this movie, maybe there were a couple chickens that tried committing suicide.
That's true.
And they made it.
I mean, how many people die every day? A number of them. Yeah.
I like that he drives a pickup truck into the mall to go, on his shopping spree. And the last thing we see him grabbing is a stuffed emu.
Yep.
That's a moa.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's an extinct bird.
Dude, don't confuse saxophones. That's all I'm saying.
It's got the loop in the neck. I see it now.
Yeah, they have a lot of fun. Like in general, they have a ton of fun with cars throughout this movie, and like they do it a bunch of times where they just park in the middle of the street and get out, whatever. It is kind of like an urban fantasy in so many ways. Like, what would I do if I didn't even just park in the middle of the street? But they also, like, in the same way that they just sort of hand wave the one corpse, they also, like, they drive down streets and there are barely any cars. And I mean, maybe that's because this happens at 6:20 in the morning, but it doesn't say, like, in those busy streets there should at least be parked cars.
I see that I forgot to list one. So could you go to 2627?
I can.
I did like when he drove the train too. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. So up until now, he's always just been doing stuff that I think everyone would do. And this is where I finally appreciated that he's like, all right, it's time to get a little weird.
There are no rules.
There's no rules. It's just me. Time to do anything that ever crossed my mind is going to be done now.
Yep.
Wearing a lace slip. That's where I'm at now.
Eggs with champagne. Why not?
Yeah, and 57 channels and nothing on.
I'm going to shoot that TV.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have always thought this guy, he's just a remarkable actor. You know? I mean,
I mean, there are precious few movies where one performer is the literal only performer on screen for, what do we get, 30, the next person doesn't arrive until the 35-minute mark. So even if you discount the 3 minutes of sunrise, this man alone, without any dialogue with another actor, carried 30 minutes of movie, and in a lot of these scenes is really, really effective. It's well done.
Yeah. Solid.
So now we're kind of getting to maybe the best part of this movie, or the most memorable part.
Yeah. So if you can go to 2937 and let it play a little bit.
Quiet Earth.
Anyway.
So he's got his tape recorder.
Show the audience. He's got this incredible audience that he's set up.
He's got the tape recorder, and that's sort of like leaking information back to the audience, like telling you from like before the experiment, and then sometimes I think he's leaving notes to nobody in the future. But we see that he's got his tape recorders, and then he has set up cardboard cutouts. Oh, it was prior to this. He's set up cardboard cutouts of celebrities, and he is preaching to them.
Like Hitler.
Yeah.
Well, in like a toga, basically. He's got a.
Wow. It's a slip on a negligee.
Good for him. He's living the dream, man.
He's wandering around the train station and the football pitch and his thing, going nuts.
This is the other sequence. I had totally forgot about this sequence.
Yeah, this is pretty edgy for 85, I feel like.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, say what you want, but just shooting a crucifix is that's got to get some people upset.
Yeah,
big time.
I mean, I imagine that this does not air on like normal TV stations in the United States.
Only on Easter Sunday.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
You watch what, Passion of the Christ, this, and then Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. This is a little weird. It's a nice character moment though.
I think.
I don't want to let it run the whole thing, right? Because he knocks over the thing,
crushes the pram,
then runs down and checks. I mean, on some level, he is going insane. And
now,
on the other hand, who is walking their kid by a construction site?
Now I think we're getting somewhere in this movie. Right now we're getting down to real business. You know, I like to think that this is where I'd be on day 4. I would get all that stuff out of the way and just get to crushing things, you know.
See, I like this though because I think that he's after, I guess, falling into the pits of despair. We're seeing that he still actually still has some shred of humanity. He cares about the baby thing. I don't know. It's well. This movie really runs the risk of falling off a cliff and becoming stupid. Is it Will Forte who has the show The Last Man? The first few episodes of that show lean heavily on all the same tropes, but that show just goes all in on the protagonist just being batshit insane. This movie, they're actually trying to make you empathize with this man.
Yeah. And it works.
It does.
It absolutely works.
There's definitely Wang here.
Yeah, I gave a time code that I thought we could, just acknowledge the
Wang,
the nudity that is pretty prevalent in this movie.
Yeah. Look, potatoes. He's planning, right, for a future.
That's right. Getting them seed taters.
Mm-hmm.
So now we get the introduction of another person, right?
Joanne.
Yeah, in a couple minutes.
Oh,
I just liked. Oh, yeah. This is just something that he one of his toys that I just thought, 1985, your RC lawn bot. I think that's pretty cool.
It is cool.
I'd like to think that that's what we would end up doing. Although I would be more likely to be the thing where you just put the spike in, and then just let the lawnmower on the rope just spiral into the I would do it that way. I'm lazy. I'm not going to rig up a remote control.
He also has computerized a bunch of stuff, where he's logging in maybe to a remote system.
Because he's in this apartment place now, right?
Yep.
So
Krypton.
Throughout this sequence,
UV's up a bit.
He's talking to the computer, and the computer is talking back, and in no way is this realistic in 1985.
Oh, right. That's right.
I want to hear some voice. Oh, nope. We're going to have a human.
Very dodgy trigger.
Right. Did I have 3713? Guys, I think that in the time of COVID, we've all been, a little short on hugs. So I think that we can understand how Zach feels.
COVID hell, this dude just found out there's a woman. He's going to put her on his big truck. They're going to go crush stuff together. They're going to wear nightgowns. It's going to be beautiful.
I always thought this was very touching, though. And actually, Nate said something along those lines, and I think I erased it. So I want to make sure.
No, that's fine. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, this is kind of this is kind of an interesting scene where he finds another person and
this is really for the audience. We still don't really know what's happening because they haven't revealed what he did yet. So this only complicates the mystery. Also, I think she does a really nice job. She does. And her this is it. This is her career. If you look, she's like, this is the only thing that she's really mentioned for on Wikipedia. And
she's very quirky, which would be fun in the apocalypse.
But she doesn't go full on like in Will Forte's thing, Kristen Schaal. She went all the way too far. Like, that show is just not very good, honestly.
I find her a little sort of aloof, maybe a little disconnected, though, a little aloof.
This woman or Kristen Schaal?
No, this woman.
Yeah. It was her first time she was acting, probably.
Right. Oh, so now here's
just the local Warkworth girl. Yeah, right?
Maybe. Okay, so this guy, maybe he was flying through the windshield, so he was having a heart attack, so maybe he lived. Maybe the deal is they were in the process of dying, but then so they would have survived the event, but the events that they were in the middle of killed them.
But he bled out.
My question is, so there were 57 million deaths in 1985. So how long would you have to be in the process of dying to make the window for this thing? So Bruno, as we find out later, probably was in a very long process of dying, right? She was a very fast one. And I mark the deaths of each one. The other guy, he was dying underwater, right? So that was pretty fast. So would you say it's like 15 seconds of death? A minute of death?
What's your torchlight window?
Yeah, right? So if it's a minute, I mean, that's a significant number of people who are alive on Earth.
Well, okay, so
5506, right?
All right, so if you assume the population of New Zealand had 3 living people, 3 people survive and 2 corpses, then you should be able to extrapolate how many people are alive throughout the rest of the planet.
Well, you don't know that there's more than...
That's true.
That there's not more than 3 people.
And as Chris has told us, plus this entire movie was filmed within 100 yards. Right. So this is just...
I think I've actually been in that building. This is amazing.
So within like a 5-mile circle, that's how many people you have. So
all right. I just wanted to note the pants and the jacket that she's wearing. That's amazing.
Mm-hmm. They're super great.
Yep. Pastel plaid jumpsuit.
Yeah. There's some. I
think it's very stylish, actually.
There's some fashion notes.
It would work today.
Yeah.
Does it look to you like the sun's pulsating?
So here's the thing.
Fully trumped. Oh, look at the sun.
Well, so during the total eclipse a couple of years ago, as the moon blocked the sun, there was a pulsation, and it was because basically the Earth becomes an enormous double slit experiment, right? And so there's a flickering, and it's super weird, right? So when he said this, I hadn't seen this movie since I saw the eclipse. I was like, oh my gosh, that's actually really interesting that's happening, because we find out later, of course, what's going on with the universe. So.
Oh wait. I had the wrong timestamp for mine.
4625. What is this ET thing?
No, I'm sorry. I jumped past this.
Was she walking past?
No, there's an ET sticker. I must have put the wrong timestamp on it. He's got on his computer. He's got I saw ET or whatever. We'll probably bump past it. This actually kind of freaked me out because I was like thinking, what are they going to show here? And I was like, I don't want to see anything scary in this room.
Yeah. But it's more sad in a lot of ways. It's just an empty incubation room or whatever. Nursery.
This scene is charming.
It's super cute.
I fast forwarded really quickly through it because there's butt cheeks.
Yeah, that was probably pretty smart.
Yeah.
In an experiment I have just conducted, I have established that this charge has changed, and in fact is oscillating between 2 new values. I cannot measure these values, as it seems the amplitude of the oscillation is increasing.
So we find out A, the base charge of the electron has increased, and B, it's changing over time. So shit's not good, right?
Right. He just said science stuff.
And C, you've learned that if it's the end of the world, don't give a shit about what's happening. Just go live whatever amount of life you have, right? Man. He is wasting his time with this stuff.
He wants to know, A, if he can fix it, right? I mean, that's what this is about for him. He wants to redeem himself and his role in this thing.
So now we
And here is 54 minutes in.
Yep.
20 minutes after the last person, we're adding our third cast member in a 90-minute movie.
And this guy's pretty awesome.
Yep. Yeah. Happy. He's kind of awful, though. I mean,
sure.
To be honest, I don't like this guy at all. I think he's a terrible actor too.
Oh, I enjoyed it tremendously.
He's not a great actor. He's no, he's a bad man, and he's not a good actor. But
and it's just it's trouble.
Yeah.
Like I talked to you before. If quite frankly, if this was another woman survivor, everything would be cool. But that as soon as another dude, pretty soon someone's going to get their hackles up and there's going to be a fight for sure.
Well, the thing I wanted to note in this scene is just, we mentioned fashion a little bit earlier. They all look good. She's wearing like the cute fun dress. He's wearing a suit, and we got a dude in a black leather jacket. They're dressing good. I got to tell you, man, if I'm like the last person on Earth, I'm dressing like I'm dressing right now. I'm just wearing t-shirts and pajamas. I'm not putting on a tie.
I had to give a couple of speeches via video conferencing, and so I did dress up for those, and that was nice. But yeah, it's a measure of them trying to retain some normality.
I definitely have the wrong timestamp for this.
Yeah, that makes sense. Fish eggs settle on the riverbed. The male fish swims along, dropping sperm on them. So if the sperm was released before the effect and penetrated after, there'd be fish.
Okay.
What?
Sure.
Sure. So how long does it take for fish to release the sperm? Then the eggs are already sitting on the riverbed, which is fine.
Sure.
And then how long does it take for the sperm to leave the fish and implant in the eggs of the fish?
It's usually almost instantaneous because
it's not instantaneous.
They dig ruts, and then the male goes directly over the eggs. Uh-huh. So it doesn't take very long at all.
Okay. So you think our window is 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 2 seconds, according to that?
I would say within a minute.
Well, within a minute. Oh, okay. A minute's very exciting.
We could probably be scientific about this because the shot in the opening sequence of the movie is probably 40, 50 frames long. So it's probably the duration of the shot in the movie, right? That's probably accurate.
Well, the problem is if it's anything less than a minute, I have a hard time believing that 4 people survived, because we have one dead one, right? 4 people survived in New Zealand, right?
Well, my problem here is that they are now cooking full-grown fish. These fish somehow got to being full-grown in, again, I don't know if this is 6 days.
Maybe it was a fish that died during the effect, and so it lived so they can eat it.
So they're eating a 15-day-old dead fish.
They're eating fish that committed suicide but then lived.
Yeah, or got electrocuted by a toaster, or was killed by one of its mates.
Sure.
For a while there, I thought I was dead.
He thought he was God.
I just love that. For a while, I thought I was dead. He thought he was God. Meh.
Yeah.
That's great.
Perfect sense.
Everybody's going to go crazy in their own special and unique way.
Yeah. So this was Appy's death at the hands of his mate. I just marked where everyone died.
Sure.
And here's Joanne's.
Killed by a hair dryer. That's harsh.
No! No!
That seems a little lazy as a writer. Yeah. I mean, I know it's the 80s.
How would a woman die? Oh, I know.
I know.
Women are always doing things with their
insulated
hair, right?
Personal care.
Yeah. She got her hair caught in a mixer in the kitchen while she was trying to prepare dinner.
Uh-oh. Ah!
More Wang.
More Wang. A lot of Wang in this movie, man.
It's just a normal amount of Wang.
This is the average amount of Wang. That's great.
Because I killed his wife.
Killed his wife? Why?
It was necessary.
And that's all they say about it. And I'm like, oh, this adds a dimension to this character that you didn't necessarily see before.
Yep. She explains it in more detail later, but I mean, I don't know, dude. I'm pretty sure that murder ain't cool.
Murder ain't cool.
I know that's controversial in these difficult times, but I gotta say, guys, I'm willing to put my foot down. I'm against murder.
That's very brave of you.
I know.
You, if you're the last man on Earth.
I'm working on it.
I love that. I'm working.
I like that line too. I mean, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that kind of unnecessarily cheeses up this movie, if you ask me.
Sure.
Yeah. What's funny about that location where the hot springs were is it's actually pretty far from the rest of the movie. You know, they filmed in Warkworth, and then it's like 2 hours drive.
They had the budget for a half a tank of gas for the truck.
Yeah, it's true.
This I just like because if you're going to do data viz with ANSI graphics, it's pretty good.
It's pretty good,
Play
yeah.
a little
Pretty
bit.
good.
Well, I do feel like they're only using like the whole blocks, and I feel like, you know, if you really wanted to step it, you could use the like half blocks in the ANSI character set, and like you could have doubled the effective resolution of that graph. It would have been nice. Just saying.
Well, I liked how they sort of anti-aliased using the delay of the.
I think that's
render.
just the CRT lag. Yeah, I don't think that's anti-aliasing.
Okay.
Where am I? So this sequence has got. This is where some of the camera stuff gets really weird. Let us run for a second. We do the vertigo zoom thing. And then this whole thing.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll pause for a second so that we can have an additional 10 seconds before the algorithm punishes us.
So, here's my question, because, like, you know, when Christopher Nolan did this in Inception, they had like a room on a gantry with pneumatics and stuff. I'm just guessing that didn't happen here.
Well, here, go back to where he was on the couch and moving to the wall, because it's likely they just built a sideways room.
That's exactly what they did.
So, I mean, I think that's what's going on here.
Yeah.
Is it just built a sideways room?
Yep.
You know?
They definitely did, because he crawls out through the doorway at the end of the shot. I'm also glad that they have an M.C. Escher painting in this, so it is effectively every dorm room ever.
Well, if you're going into a psychedelic freak out scene.
Wasn't there Breakin'? Do you remember the dancing scene in Breakin' 2, Electric Boogaloo, where they spin the whole house and the guy breakdances all around the wall? Oh.
Wow. No.
We should not watch that movie for Geeks in Space, but you should watch that sequence because it's really, really cool.
You shouldn't.
But that was the year before. I don't think that this was the same room or anything.
No, I don't think so either. But no, I was just gonna say that you do see in the last shot he like leaps out. So I think that they just built 20 feet of it. Probably didn't even build. Probably just slid up a fake wall and glued and nailed a couch down, pretty much.
Yeah.
Again,
you will.
This is some economical filmmaking.
I admire him. I mean, the budget was nothing. It was like $350,000.
That's basically film. That's how much the film cost.
Yeah.
So I got something to say about how they secured these boxes of explosives onto a flatbed truck. Like, just a tarp with some rope, not adequate, guys.
Not to mention, do you know how long that would take you to load by hand?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So those things each weigh, I don't know, 100 pounds. So you've got
anyone who's ever baled hay in the summer as a job as a kid knows what a workout this would be.
Yeah.
Maybe it was courteously already loaded.
That's possible. Sometimes when you go to a military base, you just find a truck full of explosives, tarped
keys
in.
under the eye visor.
Yeah. It just happens. It's weird.
Mm-hmm. Safety third.
And here he is, winning the woman by saying, "You like him more than you like me," because that always works.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what women like? Pathetic.
Yep.
I'm gonna go with the guy who killed the woman. Yeah.
I like that the truck is Lady Di.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
I actually really like this sequence. They're reusing the truck from before, and then he just like whips right by, and they think it's gonna go be crazy.
Safety first. I mean, you're ramming a tanker of flammable gas with your truck full of explosives. You really should just back up as far as you can and ram on through. I mean, that's what else? What else are you gonna do?
Break on through.
Now, it's worth pointing out that 2 years before this, Princess Diana and Prince Charles did their tour of New Zealand and Australia. So maybe this was someone just drawing that on their truck as a way of
You just want me to start talking about The Crown again, don't you?
It's a good show. Have you gotten to the one where they do their tour?
No, I'm still in season 2.
Oh, okay.
All right.
Ionization be like walking into a microwave oven.
Are we safe enough here?
It's about a mile away.
Listen, okay. If you're telling people not to go somewhere because it's like a microwave oven and it'll make all that explosive blow up, it's not good for people either. Just for the record,
keep your distance.
You can't walk into a microwave oven.
In all fairness, though.
He was just doing it to trick them, though.
No, in all fairness, this machine literally has a button that somebody pressed at some point in the last few weeks that killed all of humanity except for these 3 people. So, I mean, maybe the microwaves aren't that big of a deal. I mean, you just press that button again, and then...
Wait. Microwaves work by basically accelerating electrons, right?
Yep. They're radiation, yeah.
And if the electron is now much higher value, wouldn't a microwave be like even more powerful now? Or would it not be able to handle the extra added energy?
I think we're all missing the point. It doesn't matter because the magical button kills 7 billion people in 50 frames of film.
But only the people that are alive. If you're already dead, you stay there.
Well,
so you press that button again.
Remember, what's our window? So we know if you're going to kill 6,000 people or 600 or what?
Look, let's be optimistic here. This thing kills 1 in a million, or that 1 in a million lives. That's pretty optimistic, right? How many people live?
That's really optimistic. So because there's 7.5 billion people.
So even let's say it kills 1 in 10,000. Maybe kills 1 in 10,000 live. Even then, there's only a few hundred people. Now I don't buy that. Because they've now been here for 5 weeks. If there was still 1 in 10,000, then there are a couple thousand people in New Zealand still alive. So they would get together, they would find each other. So it's got to be more rare than that. But that means that if you press the button again, 1 in 10,000 people lives, then everybody's dead.
Yeah, it's true. So I'll give you that last one. That pressing the button again means all the people who are currently alive are most likely dead.
So yeah, he drives the truck, the Lady Di, into the building.
And presses the button.
And right there is $50,000 of the $600,000.
Yeah, totally.
There's like a scream going on.
But they destroyed the radio telescope.
Not the satellite dish.
Yeah, that's why this is all just a model.
Yeah, for sure.
Chris doesn't like the movie after this.
I do, but here's the thing. This is actually the story behind Half-Life 2. Not Half-Life 2, Highlander 2. So you might remember in Highlander 2, the sky had been darkened because they tried to do a power system that would transmit wirelessly. And that was what Project Flashlight was. So I think this is the prequel to Highlander.
All right.
Highlander 2.
Highlander 0.5.
Yeah. This screen, which is also the movie poster, just looks like a prog rock album cover to me.
It does.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And I gotta say, this feels unearned to me. And I know they built a lot of stuff into this movie, but why is Saturn here? Why are there these weird upside down?
No, I thought maybe he's in heaven now. This is what heaven is. It gets very transcendental.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's it.
And that's the movie. That's the ambiguous ending. You are now left to make your own decision about what you think just happened.
Yeah. And I don't think there's going to be any fish in this next one. Yeah.
Although I assumed it wasn't heaven because there wasn't like a steamroller and a bucket of fireworks for that guy. I assume that's what happens when you go to heaven. You immediately get those two things.
Or you have to meet Station. That's pretty common too.
Yeah.
I like this movie a lot. I
enjoyed it.
It tickles my low budget, good sci-fi, well written, well executed, well performed to a budget. Love it. Yeah. I'm all in. Good pick, Chris.
Thank you.
What's your movie, Robert?
Bring it, Zen.
Well, my movie has changed 3 times now.
3 times during the course of this call?
No, 3 times today.
Oh, okay.
Whoa.
So I think what I've decided is my favorite Gilliam movie with the best Tom Waits cameo ever. We're going to watch The Fisher King.
Oh,
yeah.
Particularly because Chris said he had never seen it. I think that's a shame.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
damn right.
It's a little bit. It's a long movie, so we're back into a long movie, but it's a good one.
It's worth it for sure. All right, folks. We will reconvene next week. Let's see. Goodbye, Nate Ostenor.
Farewell.
Goodbye, Chris DeBona.
See ya.
And goodbye, Rob Roseboom.
Goodbye.
I'm Rob Vander Taco Malda. This has been episode 603 of Geeks in Space, and we'll see you Friday for some news.